Hello, class. And this is your day 5 of week 8 of math. And I am going to do a few examples with you. And I want you to notice that this week for day 5, you are doing the same. You're following or working towards the same goal as you were working for day 4, which was subtract a fraction from a mixed number. So in another video for day 4, I explained how sometimes it is necessary to use a number bond, such as in 1a. And that's when the fraction in the mixed number is smaller. Actually, it's 1c. That's when the fraction in the mixed number is smaller than the fraction that you're subtracting. Okay, and so we will need to borrow one whole from the whole number in the mixed number. Okay, so this one right here, 3a, I don't want you to look at it because that's not how we did it in class, okay? Actually, number 3 says decompose the total to subtract the fractions. So when we decompose the total, that's when we use a number bond because, for example, look at 3b. We have 5 and 2/5 minus 3/5. Again, I can subtract 5 minus 0. That would only be 5. But then what about 2 minus 3? I can't do that because 2 is smaller than 3. So because of that, we were saying yesterday, because of that, we need to decompose, okay? And I am going to do that with a number bond, okay? Because that's how we learned in class. What that means is that I would borrow one whole from 5. And if I am borrowing 1 from 5, I am putting aside 4. And then the one that I am borrowing from 5, I want to write that one whole number as a fraction, okay? And the fraction would be 5/5 because I am working with fifths. And the reason why I am doing this is because I want to put that 5/5 together or add them to 2/5. And the reason why I am doing that is because I want to make a big fraction here, okay? So that instead of having 2/5, I have a bigger fraction that I can use to subtract 3/5, okay? Okay, so 5 plus 2 is 7. And then I am working with fifths. And so now I can go ahead and subtract that 3/5, okay? And if I do that, I end up with, let's see how many fifths. 7 minus 3 is 4, 4/5. And then please don't forget about that 4 that you put aside because that's part of your answer. We're not subtracting anything from that one, okay? So the answer is 4 and 4/5. Okay, and so that's what it means when it says to decompose the total. This is a total, and we're decomposing it by borrowing one whole from 5 wholes to put it together with a 2/5, okay, to make this bigger fraction 7/5, and so that we can subtract 3/5, and that's it. There's no number line to be used for number 3, so you do only this way that I just showed you, okay? All right, and so that's the rest of those problems right there. There's the exit ticket in here. Always check, for example, right here, you have 5 minus 4. That you can do that without decomposing. So for that one, you don't need a number bond, okay? Always first check and see if you really need it to decompose. If not, then you just go ahead and subtract. There's a word problem in here, okay? There's many ways of approaching these word problems, okay? So whatever works for you, you do that thing, okay? I am going to explain it the way that it makes sense to me. It says a recipe calls for 3/4 cup of milk, okay? So in other words, one recipe requires or calls for 3/4 cup of milk. And then it says Saisha only has a 1/4 cup measuring cup. Okay. If she doubles the recipe, notice how it says doubles here, okay? So that means like instead of one recipe, it would mean 2 recipes, right? Doubling it. So if she doubles the recipe, how many times, here's your question, how many times will she need to fill the 1/4 cup with milk? Draw a tape diagram and record as a multiplication equation. All right, so let me, just like how we do in class, let me reread the question and write an answer statement. It says, how many times will she need to fill the 1/4 cup with milk? Okay, so she will need to fill the 1/4 cup with milk blank times. So how many times will she need to put milk in that 1/4 cup or measuring cup to make the 2 recipes, okay? Okay, so since I am supposed to draw a tape diagram, let me see. So this is going to be 1 recipe, okay? It's not 3/4, it's not representing 1 whole. It's just a box to say this would be 1 recipe, okay? For 1 recipe, I would need 3/4 of milk, 3/4 cup of milk, okay? But then she's doubling the recipe. So that means that she's adding she's gonna need another 3/4 cup of milk, okay? To make a second recipe, okay? And so basically in total, how much milk is that to make 2 recipes? Well, that would be 6/4, correct? 6/4 cups of milk. That's what she would need to make the 2 recipes. Now, the question is not how much milk will she need to make the 2 recipes. The question is how many times. How many times will she need to fill the 1/4 cup with milk? Okay, so that she can put all 6/4 cups of milk to make the 2 recipes. So in other words, it's asking me to put the total 6/4 cup. 6/4 is going to be how many times? How many times that 1/4? Okay, that 1/4 measuring cup. So the rest of it is going to be your job, okay, to find out. If you thought of another way of modeling this with a tape diagram, then you use that other way, okay, whatever works for you. All right, and that's it for day 5 of week 8.